She called out to her two dogs, Maggie and Daisy. Girls, come, she commanded. The dogs were cowering in a corner. They knew something was wrong. At Marissa's command, the dogs followed her to the living room. Marissa opened the front door, and black smoke below them. She slammed the door shut. Girls, come, she said. Marissa and the dogs went to the balcony. Marissa, looking down from the balcony, saw people running around. The apartment was a street across from a park where homeless people slept. Now, homeless people were banging frantically on windows and doors, urging people to get out of their beds and apartments. One homeless man seemed to be in charge, and Marissa called out to him. Help, she cried. I don't know what to do. I can't get out my front door. Then the man looked up and grew very serious. If you want to live, you have to jump, he said. But I have two dogs, replied Marissa. You'll have to throw them down, said the man. Marissa scooped up one dog and dropped, and then the other. After that, she climbed over the railing and fell from the third floor to the second floor balcony, and from there she fell to the ground. She sustained bruises and a sprained ankle, but she didn't notice them because her only worry was for her dogs. Maggie, she cried. Daisy. A neighbor said she had seen the dogs land safely and run towards the park. There was a huge relief to Marissa, and she headed to the park calling for them. But so far, there was no sign of the dogs. Marissa remembered that her cell phone was in the apartment. The only phone number that she had memorized was her brother's phone number. So Marissa borrowed someone's phone and called her brother. And her brother answered after 2 rings. Marissa was surprised because her brother was a deep sleeper and was hard to wake up. Marissa told her brother what was happening. I need you to come get me and help me look for my dogs, she said. Her brother came over and the two drove around looking for the dogs. Fire trucks arrived. I'm impressed that we need to go back to the park, Marissa said. At the park, she called for the dogs, and Maggie came running up. Marissa was so happy. She fell to the ground crying and hugging the dog. As for Daisy, it took 17 hours to find her. Strangers combed the street. A social media page for missing pets posted a notice, and a local television channel interviewed Marissa about the dog, and the police even put out a bulletin. That night, Marissa's brother called, telling her that Daisy had been found. He had been calling for Daisy on the street, and the dog had recognized his voice and run to him. Bystanders took out their cell phones to record Marissa's joyful reunion with her dogs. For Marissa, it was a night of miracles. She lost air visiting the fire, but God saved her life and the lives of her dogs. But why? As Marissa prayed for answers, she sensed God replied, because I am not finished with you yet. The words were bound to her soul. Marissa worked in adolescent and child mental health. She was employed by the U.S. government as a juvenile correctional officer and by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But when COVID hit, she found herself unemployed. Normally upbeat, she fell into a dark period and she couldn't seem to escape. But the fire snapped her out of the deep sadness, realizing that God wasn't finished with her yet. She remembered her calling to work with children and decided to return to it. Months later, she moved to Arizona to work as the head girls dean at Holbrook Seventh-day Adventist Indian School. In the girls' dormitory, she oversees several dozens of girls with the help of Maggie and Daisy, who the girls love. She couldn't be happier. I can't imagine myself doing anything else, she said. This mission story offers an inside look at the face behind the scenes at Holbrook Seventh-day Adventist Indian School, which received part of the 13th Sabbath offering in 2018 and 2021 to construct a student life center. I'd like to thank you all for your 13th Sabbath offering this quarter that will